Verse 1 says, Now Nahash the Ammonite came up and besieged Jabesh Gilead, and all the men of Jabesh said to Nahash, Make a covenant with us, and we will serve you. Now, Nahash was an Ammonite. The Ammonites, terrible enemies of Israel, they're not allowed in Israel, in the assembly of Israel, even to the 10th generation. In Deuteronomy 23, verses 3 and 4, no Ammonite or Moabite shall enter the assembly of Yahweh. None of their descendants, even to the 10th generation, shall ever enter the assembly of Yahweh. Because they did not meet you with food and water on the way when you came out of Egypt, and because they hired against you Balaam, the son of Beor, from Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse you. The Ammonites, what are they now? A part of which people? Arab people, specifically. You see, now, not all Islamic nations are Arabic. Like, for instance, Iran's not. Some of them, you got your Arab nations are most of them are, but some aren't. The origin of the Arab race can only be a matter of conjecture. This is an article, by the way, that was in the 1911 encyclopedia.org. The origin of the Arab race can only be a matter of conjecture. From the remotest historic times, it's been divided into two branches, which from their geographical position, it's simplest to call North Arabians and the South Arabians. Arabic and Jewish tradition trace the descent of the latter from Joktan, son of Heber, of the former from Ishmael. The South Arabians, the older branch, were settled in the southwestern part of the peninsula centuries before the uprise of the Ishmaelites. These latter include not only Ishmael's direct descendants through the 12 princes, which is in Genesis 25, verse 16, but the Edomites, the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Midianites, and other tribes. He may as well inserted Psalm 83 in there. This ancient and undoubted division of the Arab race, roughly represented today by the universally adopted classification into Arabs proper and Bedouin Arabs, has caused much dispute among ethnologists. Okay, I did not plan on this being in my notes on 1 Samuel 11, but there were. Kind of fits in well. Verse 2. But Nahash the Ammonite said to them, I'll make it with you on this condition, that I will gouge out the right eye of every one of you. Thus I'll make it a reproach on all Israel. And the elders of Jabesh said to him, Let us alone for 7 days, that we may send messengers throughout the territory of Israel. Then if there's no one to deliver us, we'll come out to you. Now hold it. We just read in Deuteronomy, don't ever make a covenant with the Ammonites, okay? And then they're just making a mockery of it. Yeah, we'll make a covenant with you. We're going to take out every one of your right eyes first. Okay, so they're just being they're being very Islamic about the whole thing. Israel, they want to make this covenant with the Ammonites. That's forbidden. Exodus 23, verses 31 and 32 says, And I'll fix your boundary from the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philistines, from the wilderness to the river Euphrates. I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you'll drive them out before you. You shall make no covenant with them or with their gods. The offer made by Nahash was absurd, and it was intended to humiliate the Israelites. Verses 4 through 6, And the messengers came to Gibeah of Saul and spoke these words in the hearing of the people, and all the people lifted up their voices and wept. Now behold, Saul was coming from the field behind the oxen, and he said, What is the matter with the people that they weep? So they related to him the words of the men of Jabesh. Then the spirit of Elohim came upon Saul mightily when he heard these words, and he became very angry. The messengers told the people and also told Saul, we're told that the spirit of Elohim came upon Saul mightily when he heard these words. Now that same phrase is used in describing what happened with some of the judges also. Like Gideon, for instance, and Samson. 1 Samuel 11, verses 7 and 8. He took a yoke of oxen and cut them in pieces and sent them throughout the territory of Israel by the hand of messengers. saying, whoever does not come out after Saul and after Samuel, so it shall be done to his oxen. The dread of Yahweh fell on the people, and they came out as one man. And he numbered them in Bezek, and the sons of Israel were 300,000, the men of Judah 30,000. So Elohim caused them to dread not to be a part of this. So 330,000 of them rallied for their fellow countrymen. Verse 9, and they said to the messengers who had come, thus you shall say to the men of Jabesh Gilead, tomorrow, by the time the sun is hot, you shall have deliverance. So the messengers went and told the men of Jabesh, and they were glad. Then the men of Jabesh said, tomorrow we'll come out to you, and you may do to us whatever seems good to you. And it happened the next morning that Saul put the people in 3 companies, and they came in the midst of the camp at the morning watch, and struck down the Ammonites until the heat of the day. It came about that those who survived were scattered, so that no 2 of them were left together. So Saul divided them up into 3 companies, and they attacked at the morning watch. Now the morning watch, that's going to be before the sun comes up. Good time to attack. They struck down the Ammonites until the middle of the day, and the remaining men of the opposing army scattered. You watch those old cowboy and Indian movies, and the Indians say, we're going to attack at dawn. And you wonder, how did they get up so early? Who woke it? Did some guy stay up all night? What if he fell asleep? They had a trick they did. You know what they did? Before they would go to bed that night, drink a bunch of water. That's what they did. Verse 12. And the people said to Samuel, who is he that said, shall Saul reign over us? Bring the men that we may put them to death. But Saul said, not a man shall be put to death this day, for today Yahweh has accomplished deliverance in Israel. Then Samuel said to the people, come and let us go to Gilgal and renew the kingdom there. So all the people went to Gilgal, and there they made Saul king before Yahweh in Gilgal. There they also offered sacrifices of peace offerings before Yahweh. And there Saul and all the men of Israel rejoiced greatly. Saul was successful here in his first task as a leader in Israel. What did Saul do? Really nothing. All he did was spread a message out there with little oxen pieces to everybody. Elohim stirred up anger in him. Elohim made his spirit, his breath come upon him mightily. Elohim put fear in the hearts of their enemies. Elohim gave them victory. Elohim did all this, and he caused Saul to succeed. Chapter 12, the first 2 verses. Then Samuel said to all Israel, behold, I've listened to your voice and all that you said to me, and I have appointed a king over you. And now here is the king walking before you, but I am old and gray, and behold, my sons are here with you. And I've walked before you from my youth even to this day. Samuel is addressing the people at the coronation of Saul. Verse 3, here I am. Bear witness against me before Yahweh and his anointed. Whose ox have I taken, or whose donkey have I taken? Or whom have I defrauded? Whom have I oppressed? Or from whose hand have I taken a bribe to blind my eyes with it? I will restore it to you. And they said, you've not defrauded us, or oppressed us, or taken anything from any man's hand. And he said to them, Yahweh is witness against you, and his anointed is witness this day that you found nothing in my hand. And they said, he is witness. So Samuel, is saying he'd been righteous in all his dealings with the people and all of his judgments with Israel. Elohim and Saul were the 2 witnesses that the people have nothing against Saul and his dealings with the people. Verse 6, then Samuel said to the people, it is Yahweh who appointed Moses and Aaron and who brought your fathers up from the land of Egypt. So now, take your stand, that I may plead with you before Yahweh concerning all the righteous acts of Yahweh which he did for you and your fathers. When Jacob went into Egypt and your fathers cried out to Yahweh, then Yahweh sent Moses and Aaron who brought your fathers out of Egypt and settled them in this place. Samuel's recounting for them some of the things Elohim has delivered them and their forefathers. Elohim delivered their fathers out of Egypt. He took them into this land. Verse 9, but they forgot Yahweh, their Elohim, so he sold them into the hand of Sisera, captain of the armies of Hazor, into the hand of the Philistines, into the hand of the king of Moab. And they fought against them, and they cried out to Yahweh and said, we've sinned because we've forsaken Yahweh and have served the Baals and the Ashtaroth. But now deliver us from the hands of our enemies, and we will serve you. Then Yahweh sent Jerubbaal and Beden and Jephthah and Samuel, and delivered you from the hands of your enemies all around, so that you live in security. When the people rebelled against him, he handed them over to the hands of their enemies. He did it several times. Elohim sent them judges who delivered them again and again. Verse 12, when you saw that Nahash, the king of the sons of Ammon, came against you, you said to me, no, but a king shall reign over us, although Yahweh your Elohim was your king. Now therefore, here is the king whom you have chosen, whom you have asked for, and behold, Yahweh has set a king over you. If you will fear Yahweh and serve him and listen to his voice, and not rebel against the command of Yahweh, then both you and also the king who reigns over you will follow Yahweh your Elohim. The people just recently rejected Elohim in favor of an earthly king, but Elohim delivered them anyway. He tells them if the people obey his Torah, both them and their new king will follow Elohim and be his people. Verse 15, and if you will not listen to the voice of Yahweh, but rebel against the command of Yahweh, then the hand of Yahweh will be against you as it was against your fathers. Even now, take your stand and see this great thing which Yahweh will do before your eyes. Is it not the wheat harvest today? I will call to Yahweh that he may send thunder and rain. Then you'll know and see that your wickedness is great, which you have done in the sight of Yahweh, by asking for yourselves a king. This was the time of the wheat harvest in Palestine. That would have been about the middle of June, which here also, we don't get any rain in the middle of June. And rain there is very uncommon during that time of the year. So for Samuel to call for rain and for it to rain is miraculous and definitely a sign from Elohim. Verse 18, so Samuel called Yahweh, and Yahweh sent thunder and rain that day. And all the people greatly feared Yahweh and Samuel. Then all the people said to Samuel, pray for your servants to Yahweh your Elohim, so that we may not die. For we've added to all our sins this evil by asking for ourselves a king. And Samuel said to the people, do not fear, you have committed all this evil. Yet do not turn aside from following Yahweh, but serve Yahweh with all your heart. People were scared to death, and they should have been. They realized the severity of their sin in asking for a king. They weren't just asking for a king, they were rejecting Elohim is what they were doing. Samuel tells them that don't compound your sin. Serve Elohim with all your heart. Verse 21, and you must not turn aside, for then you would go after futile things, which cannot profit or deliver, because they're futile. Well, that just kind of struck me there. Don't turn aside. What does that mean? Stay on the path. Yeah, stay on the path. If you don't stay on the path, you're going to go after futile things. And all I can think are things like Christmas and Easter, all futile things of no profit whatsoever. Sunday worship, sunrise service. Verse 22, for Yahweh will not abandon his people on account of his great name, because Yahweh has been pleased to make you a people for himself. Moreover, as for me, far be it from me that I should sin against Yahweh by ceasing to pray for you, but I'll instruct you in the good and right way. Yahweh's been pleased to make you a people for himself. Who's he talking about? Israel. 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 Isn't that in Scripture over and over again? Israel's Yahweh's people. What about Christians? I mean, I'm asking.
Are they Israelites?
No, they're not Israelites. Nor do they claim to be. Gentiles, yeah.
Well, at least you're not Muslim.
Leave it to Tom to look at the bright side. At least they're not Muslims. He says, but I'll instruct you in a good and right way. Well, Elohim is not going to abandon his people forever. In Psalm 94, verse 14, Yahweh will not abandon his people, nor will he forsake his inheritance. Isaiah 41, verse 17, the afflicted and needy are seeking water, but there is none, and their tongue is parched with thirst. I, Yahweh, will answer them myself. As the Elohim of Israel, I will not forsake them. Jeremiah 32, starting at verse 24. Have you not observed what this people have spoken, saying, the two families which Yahweh chose, he has rejected them? Thus they despise my people. No longer are they as a nation in their sight. Thus says Yahweh, if my covenant for day and night stand not, and the fixed patterns of heaven and earth I have not established, then I would reject the descendants of Jacob and David my servant, from not taking from his descendants rulers over the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but I'll restore their fortunes and will have mercy on them. Samuel said he won't commit the sin of not praying for Israel and not instructing them in the Torah. He won't make that sin. Verses 24 and 25, only fear Yahweh and serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider what great things he's done for you. But if you still do wickedly, both you and your king shall be swept away. You know, Elohim only asks one thing of us, follow his Torah. That's what he asks of us. That's it. If not, he says, Israel will be swept away or consumed. Joshua 24, verse 20 says, if you forsake Yahweh and serve foreign gods, then he will turn and do you harm and consume you after he's done good to you. Deuteronomy 28, verses 36 and 37, Yahweh will bring you and your king, whom you shall set over you, to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known. There you shall serve other gods, wood and stone, and you shall become a horror, a proverb, and a taunt among all the people where Yahweh will drive you. Well, we know the history. They failed time and time again. We just need to pray for righteousness in our lives. You know, when it comes to improvement, one only needs to look in the mirror to see where that needs to happen. In my case, anyway. Because the Torah is a mirror. It's a reflection for his people to look at, to ponder on, to examine the blemishes. Okay? And be attentive to them. Take care of them. Any questions? Any thoughts?